Welcome back to Detection Dispatch, a podcast all about what's happening in the world of detection engineering, and also a podcast that celebrates hard the Women's History Month. This is episode 2 out of our 3-part series spotlighting the amazing people that are pushing the boundaries of threat hunting and detection engineering, and just overall bringing together the allies, right? Supporting our women in cybersecurity. Last week, we sat down with Lauren, who brought the heat with her Hearth community-driven threat hunting project. And that's all about sharing ideas and just leveling up together as a community. And today, we're keeping the heat and that energy rolling with someone who's also shaking up the space, but in a little bit of a different way. I am very honored to be joined by Edna Jonsson, a cybersecurity practitioner, super active in the community, content creator, YouTuber, podcaster, all the things. Edna, is there anything that you don't do?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not super heavy on red team, so maybe like offensive security, but I do a little bit of purple teaming, so I don't know. I,
There-
I do a lot. That's
I
what I've been told.
We know, we see that. And
Yeah.
today, and it's such an overlap with all of these different teams, and especially with what you're
Mhm.
going to talk about today. Edna's giving us a inside look on Deceive, right? The David
Yes.
Bianco's newest project here, an AI-powered honeypot. It's giving security teams a whole new way to gather proactive intel, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So David Bianco created this really cool project. It's called Deceive. It's a honeypot AI. So an AI generated honeypot that helps you set up quickly a honeypot environment. You can customize it to whatever you need, whatever your business is. It can be a user environment or it could be a mail server. You tell it what you want, it creates it.
Ooh. Oh
And
my God.
then, yeah, and then in addition to logging, it also, once a threat actor connects to it and then disconnects, it gives you a summary of all of the things that the threat hunter did,
Uh-huh.
and it's going to evaluate that. Was it benign? Was it kind of suspicious behavior, or does it really think it was malicious? So it gives you that summary and it helps you with setting up your detections, understanding what the tactics, techniques, and procedures of that threat actor were. So it's a really cool product.
I, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to break it down with you. But
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how did you get into cyber and then now into working with honeypots?
Okay, so my journey was I didn't go in a straight line into cybersecurity. I started in coding as a developer.
Uh-huh.
So it's been about 10 years ago, I went and signed up to do a coding boot camp.
Okay.
And while I was doing the coding boot camp, I was also on the side doing like the Harvard CS50 class, and that brought up DEF CON. Once I
Oh.
learned about DEF CON, I went like in a deep dive, reading all these write-ups. I remember there was one competitor, he goes by the handle of Lost. He had written this like really extravagant write-up, and I loved finding out like how do you do this and different things. And eventually, I ended up getting a glimpse of that write-up in the episode Mr. Robot. So I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh, of course.
yeah, so that was cool. So I got really passionate about it, but I was
Mm.
going like down the road of developer. So I was a developer for a while. I started teaching at a coding boot camp. And then I asked them, hey, you have this cybersecurity boot camp. Can I learn the material and teach that as well? So my first cybersecurity job was teaching cybersecurity, which also gave me a huge imposter syndrome because I'm like, I've never actually done this, but I'm teaching other people how to do this. I taught cybersecurity for a while, and then I got my first job as a cybersecurity analyst, and now I'm a cybersecurity engineer.
I it's one thing to do cyber and it's another thing to teach it. Like it's such a skill to be able to break down such complex, complicated, sophisticated concepts into a way that anybody can understand and in a way that can build up everyone who learns at their own pace and in different ways. So that's a true skill. And that's when you can prove you really understand something, is if you can explain it clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is like you learn it yourself, you do it, and then you teach somebody else. And
Yeah.
like the more that you're like getting closer to that, you're teaching somebody else, that helps you learn it better yourself too.
I agree so much.
Yeah.
And putting it in your own words, hearing it from others, like, and then building with others too. And the different analogies that people pick up along the way to help explain any of the concepts. Have you picked up any analogies, or like for our listeners, if you heard them talk about DEath Con, there's also DEF CON. Do you want to say the whole acronym so that
Yeah,
there's no confusion?
absolutely. I know the two sound really
They really do.
similar, but DEFCON is detection, engineering, and threat hunting. So there is the phrase thrunting that was coming around the same time that DEFCON was started, but the organizers really the acronym DEATH. And so it's been like death themed a little bit. It's last year,
Skulls everywhere.
yeah,
Mhm.
skulls, definitely skulls. Last year we had Anubis was like our theme. So it's cool history tied into it. So it's not just like all tech, we have some art and things like that included in it as well. So I
Yeah.
love that creative side of the conference too.
I have not had the pleasure of attending, but DEF CON. I've been to DEF CON many times, and you're also super involved with DEF CON, right?
Yes, I help organize our local DEF CON group, DC 407.
Oh.
And I've been to DEF CON twice, and last year I competed in the Social Engineering Community Village Fishing competition with my
Oh my
team Riz
gosh.
Kitties.
And you
Yes.
won, and y'all won, of course.
And we didn't win, but we're planning to go back this year and win. That's the goal. So hopefully I'll be able to report after that we won the competition and we're awesome. But we did win two of the Dundee Awards. We won, one was the acting one, and then there was one, it was really my teammate Dylan that got, and that was for best teammate because he showed up with his tools and shared them with every single competitor and was like,
Mhm.
here's what I use and you can share with it. And so like him being like, hey, here is how you can compete better helped him get an award too. So that was really exciting.
That is. Best of luck with that. And
Thank you.
I always find that once what they're looking for, how the judges judge others, how it goes, you're in a much better place to compete the
Oh
next time
yeah.
around.
Yeah, absolutely. The first time I went, I really my my fellow competitors had competed before, but this was
Mhm.
my first time. So I was just hearing about how it went, but I hadn't experienced it. Now that
Mhm.
I've experienced it, I know that we're going to do great this year. So it's so
Of course.
exciting.
Of
Yeah.
course. And we're all on Dispatch rooting for you. And
Thank you.
I think that also lines up well to what we're talking about is once we know what the attack landscape is, you can better prepare your own defenses around it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So with deceive to defend, if you will. So can you just break it down for us? Like, how does deceive work? What's powering it? What does it mean for detection engineers and threat hunters who are building and maintaining their detection mechanisms today?
Yeah, so it is, you connect it to a large language model, an LLM. You can use OpenAI, you can use different ones, you can even use your own local LLM. So if you don't want to connect it to with an API key, you can have your own model running locally.
Mhm.
It is meant to help you improve your detection models. So when you spin up a deceive honeypot, you can see what the attacker behavior was. It logs everything that they did, and that helps you provide like that high fidelity data that you can use to tune your SIM rules or better give you behavior analytics and things like that.
Yeah, it could give inspo for people to see what are they doing on the other side, so that you could tune in on, yeah, on the, what is it called, the red team side.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it's like that proactive threat hunting. So instead of waiting for alerts to happen in your environment and waiting for the bad things to happen in the environment that in your production environment, this allows you to have an environment where you can have those threat actors going crazy, go do all the things that you're planning to do, and then see what they did. And then that is going to help you with finding like that attack patterns and what they're going to
Mhm.
do. Yeah.
And so not only does it create so it's almost like a simulation tool because it'll create an attack surface, whether it's a mail server,
Mhm.
whatever it is. It'll not only just create it, but run the simulations or the attacks against that.
You would have to have either somebody that comes in and does all those things or have it out there available for attackers to come in and attack.
Uh-huh.
So the deceive AI isn't going to attack itself, but it is the honeypot that you have threat detection, threat actors come in so that you
Ah,
can detect it. Yeah.
got it. And how is it different than the other traditional honeypots?
So this is an AI generated one. It's gonna let you quickly create your honeypots, and you can create so many because you can have multiples of them running.
Yeah.
And so you can have Steve's computer and I'm trying to think of a name, just John Doe's computer, and then like a server and all these things that you can have spun up so quickly that saves you time.
Hmm.
And then after it has been targeted and attacked, it gives you a summary. So it tells you what are the highlights that you need to know about what has happened. Because you could have so much logs that were generated from activities that
Yeah.
as a defender or a threat hunter, you're combing through trying to figure out what happened. But with the AI, it generates like a quick summary so you can read, okay, this is what happened. Now I know what they're going to do if they come into my environment. So I can take that information and detections against it and prevent it from happening in my production environment. So it's saving you time. And
Yeah.
and since it's like the first one, I think there's going to be more in the future because AI is a growing field.
Mm.
And this is something that can help defenders in the future. More people are going to write programs like this, and that's going to just help the everybody.
My mind is racing with what kind of honeypots I would put out there. Like I'd want to put one on like my Wi-Fi network just to see
Mhm.
who wants to try to reach in. I would put one as different iterations of my domain. Like if I have a website like anvologic.com, like I would try to change it a couple different ways to try to see
Yeah,
who's actively targeting you.
right.
My mind is going all over the place with this.
Hmm.
And you're right, it can save so many people so much time. It can enhance detection and response to their workflows. And it's not just because it's a fun thing to do to set up a trap, because I mean it is pretty like freaking exciting, but
Yeah,
it is about gaining that insight and helping teams think like an attacker, get into their mind a little bit.
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
yeah, I could see them using it to spot holes in their defenses. I could see them, I don't even know, like recreating. My mind goes to this quote that I read about this book called The Art of War. And probably not the best time to be talking about war as we approach World War III.
Oh, yeah,
But it's true. It's all about how if you know yourself, like you're halfway into this battleground or any strategic game that you're playing. But if you understand the enemy, you've already won the game. Like you already know where they're at, what their next move is. And I think that's what I'm thinking about when I think about what Deceive empowers you to do.
yeah.
Yeah, I love this so much. So how can folks get involved with Deceive? I know there's so much more to do. It's still been in previews, in beta mode. Like how can folks get involved with this?
It's available on GitHub, and
Okay.
I am pretty sure that David would appreciate contributions to it.
Mm,
So reach out to David Bianco and ask, what can I do? You can always help with adding to things. I think it would be really cool if it would be expanded so that there was like this machine learning and that as an attacker is getting into the environment,
Yeah.
it shows like real-time activity of the user. And because once an attacker comes into a honeypot and they realize it's a honeypot, they're not going to stick around and keep doing things. But if I think with AI, you can generate, there is a process is happening and a user is actively using the computer. That's exciting to an attacker. And
Yeah.
so I think that would be a really cool feature to add to this.
Ooh, I see. That's what's next for
I
this
think
deception
so.
tech.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good feature and would really make it an enticing thing for threat actors to be interacting with. If they think they're like, there's a user in the box and I'm on the box, and that's the most exciting thing ever.
That really is. That's like
Yeah.
it's following the track, like the Cuckoo's Nest book.
Yeah.
Do you see these AI powered, AI driven honeypots becoming the standard for security teams? I know it's pretty early to say, but if you've worked with it pretty closely and intimately, and have you been seeing that it's actually working pretty successfully?
So right now it came out last month. So it is about a month old. And I think that even though like right now it's not Deceive is in production ready. I think soon it will be, and I think in the future, like in a year or so, we're going to
Mhm.
see lots of security teams
Mm.
using AI generated honeypots because it is such an easy thing to spin up and to put out there. And I think with how fast technology moves, I think it's only about a year away from security teams being actively using these AI generated honeypots.
How are the resources looking like to spin it up? Would it cost a team a lot to do that?
Oh, the right now, Deceive, it only costs me 3 cents for
Oh,
for the AI API to spin up each honeypot. So that is like nothing. It
no,
is, yeah,
literally nothing.
right. It's so inexpensive and easy to set up. So,
I love
but
that.
yeah.
Were would maybe for the novice to the pro to the intermediate folks, obviously this is maybe more for a little bit for folks more on the kind of advanced levels then because could things go really wrong with it if or is it a completely safe environment if you're gonna seclude it?
Yeah, so if it's separate outside of your production environment
Yeah.
and don't put your corporate data in there, of course. Don't put
Yeah.
users' passwords in there, but I think it's pretty safe to use. I think because it's so new, was listed as not ready for production,
Oh, I
but
see.
I think that soon it will be. And I hope more people will get active with developing, either helping with Deceive or developing their own AI generated honeypots because I think this is a fantastic technology and a tool that defenders can use to help their security teams to defend better and to get actual what attackers are doing once they get onto into your environment. So
Mhm. And that's how we grow. That's how we grow as a community and level up together. So I know what any advice you would give to these aspiring threat hunters that are looking to make that kind of an impact to the community, maybe contribute to this project?
yeah, so for those that are getting into the field, like my biggest advice is to always stay curious and be
Mhm.
relentless in your learning. Threat hunting, it's about how understanding how attackers think and staying ahead of them by continually learning. You're helping yourself in your career. I recommend getting hands-on and trying things out yourself. Like I'm currently going through like a honeypot period, and that is what I'm intensely learning about lately. And you can do things like that. And then just get engaged with the community. Start talking to people. Follow other threat hunters on Twitter and Blue Sky and join Discord servers and places where you can have conversations with others. And that's going to help people in their career.
Oh, I love that, Sima. We love to see that.
Yeah.
Anez in their honeypot era.
Yes. I am in my honeypot era. I love it. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
And you and all of the folks, all of our listeners can be too. You can tune in to our GitHub that we'll link in our show notes. You can follow Edna's YouTube channel where you can follow along. It's like a build a lab with me. You can follow along with them as they take you into building the honeypot, right? With this AI driven honeypot.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like you were building a lab. I managed to caught a little bit of a glimpse.
Yeah, I have a video where I go through how to set up the Deceive honeypot and then running it and what it gives you as results and showing the logs and things like that.
Awesome. We have a question in the chat. Edna, are you looking forward for any events this year? Black Hat, DEF CON, of course, DEF CON, any community events that you love as we approach our event season?
Yeah, so I am going to SecretCon in Minnesota this summer.
Hmm.
I'm going to DEF CON, so I'm going to be competing there with the Riz Kitties.
Hmm.
Hopefully, they haven't opened up the call for competitors yet, but I'm planning to. That is my goal. And DEF CON definitely. I'm going to B-Sides Tampa here soon and B-Sides Orlando, where I volunteer. Yeah, lots of events.
So much travel, so much fun in
Yes,
store. We absolutely love
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that wraps our episode today. And now we are so thankful for this chat, for this conversation. That's a wrap for our Deceive to Defend AI powered honeypot episode. Thank you so much for giving us the behind the scenes look at Deceive and how teams can really flip the script when it comes to gathering threat intel in a completely new and modern way, right? This is how you truly stay ahead of the tactics and use them to our advantage. We're going to be back on March 27th with the final episode of our series featuring another powerhouse that's also shaking up things in the detection engineering and threat hunting world, Sydney Marone with model assisted threat hunting, also very much in the AI powered world or machine learning assisted world. So until then, listeners, stay curious, stay relentless, as Edna told us, and always, of course, never stop thrunting.